One day I was sitting in my church office, and again in that little community. I was sitting in my church office when Daniel and Bethany came running into the office. Dad, 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 those boys. And I'm like, what boys? Those boys that were in that truck accident. They're out on the road. They're here. Can we go see them? And I said, well, guys, in a little bit, we'll go out there. What had happened was 1 year earlier today, this was July 3rd, 1 year earlier to the day, there was some boys that were in an accident. They were driving a pickup truck during hay season. They had been working daylight till dark for weeks and weeks on end. And one of them, they were both actually asleep, but the driver fell asleep and hit a tree at about 50, 60 miles an hour head on. So this was a well-known accident that people knew about in our community. And so the children wanted to meet these guys. Plus, it had happened at the end of our driveway. So the church was here, the little two-lane highway, and the road turns, right where the road turns was our family driveway to our home. So they were like, we want to see these, we want to meet these guys. And so I said, here in a little bit, we'll go. So they went back downstairs because it was the Christian school was in the same building. So in a little bit, I grabbed them. We walked down there. I have Bethany on one hand, I have Daniel on the other. And we're walking down there to the scene of the accident. And sure enough, here are the two boys. They're in yard chairs, kind of yard lounge chairs. And they're sitting back right on the side of the highway with cars going by, right where the accident happened. They're smoking the biggest cigars I'd ever seen in my life. And we go walking up, and I'm like, these guys are funny. The humorous things we do in life. I go, well, so we walk up, and I go, what are you guys doing? And we're celebrating. I go, what are you celebrating? They said, we're celebrating because we beat the odds. We defied the odds. I go, what do you mean you defied the odds? They go, well, they said we would never live. They said we would never recover. They said this, they said that. We showed them, kind of one of those kind of, attitudes. I'm like, wow. I said, so you guys are the guys that hit the tree? Yeah. Oh, man. And they were all excited, teenage boys. And so the kids are there, and Daniel and Bethany are squeezing my hands, and I'm like, now these are my kids, Bethany and Daniel. And so listen, it was a bad accident. Oh, it was a terrible accident. I said, how did you get out of the truck? They said, oh, and they kind of avoided the question. And I said, we did it. And I said, but I thought you were unconscious. Yeah, it's a little hard to get out of a truck when you're unconscious. And then the other guy, I heard you had a broken femur and you had bone sticking through your skin and you had a concussion and hemorrhaging and, and the flames were coming up around your, your body. And they just kind of went real silent. And they kind of just stared with these blank stares like, wait a minute, we're all that? But this guy wants to know how we got out of the truck. And then the guy gets this real kind of, just a blank stare on his face and then he goes, oh, so you're the guy, he says to me. He goes, you're the guy. And I said, yeah, I'm the guy. And I said, guess what? You did not rescue yourselves. In the next few moments, as I explained to them that I didn't rescue them, it was their Heavenly Father that rescued them. That it was a miracle. It was early on July 3rd, my day off, that God had arranged for me to meet a man at the church who never showed up. So that I would be sitting there in my pickup truck, staring at the road, waiting for him to show. He did not show. As that truck went by, I watched them drive by. And they drove down the highway into the trees, and about 4 seconds later, I heard the explosion. So I was there within a few moments. And when I explained to them that it was nothing other than their Heavenly Father heard their cries, I held my children's hands, and they held their hands, and those boys gave their life to Christ right there on the spot.